Hello and welcome back to the BOSStimator. Ryan Frick here, your personal trainer. Today we're going to be talking about items and what are items and how they affect everything. We talked about a few other things in previous videos, so let's get right into it. Let's go to the estimating default page, and then we'll bring up the, we talked about active estimates, what that is, unit rates, we talked about that, and the categories, we talked about what they were. Parameters we haven't talked about yet. Parameters are, we'll get more in detail later on, but they are basically related strictly for the BOSSitizer. If you have the BOSSitizer module, that allows you to go and import a set of plans, be it PDF or whatever, and digitize it on the screen, and all that information gets sent to the BOSStimator. And then what happens is that the each task is associated with one of those elements, and it calculates your quantities based upon the digitized set of plans. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Anyways, let's get into the items and what that is. What are items and how they affect the BOSStimator and you? Items are the building blocks of the construction industry. And that's what makes the BOSStimator different from most other estimating software packages. When you're comparing the other systems and stuff like that, look at the level of detail you're going to get out of it. With the other estimating packages, they have the basic items. They have the basic labor cost, material, equipment, subcontractor, and other costs. And that's the level of detail most of them are going to give you. And that's okay for the most part. The problem with that methodology, though, let's say we got an OSB wall that you're putting up. And on their estimating platform, they have a product called OSB walls. And they got it per square foot. But the problem is if you put 32 square feet, which is one sheet of OSB, they are going to give you a material cost of, I'm going to use an example, of $6 per board. So the material is going to be $6, and then they may throw in an extra 25 cents for nails and the nails, ring shank nails, and maybe H clips depending upon how it's installed, and so on and so forth. So they give you a price at $6.25 for materials for every 32 foot, which is fine for the most part. The problem comes about when, if you live in the East Coast for sure, you're very familiar how fast material prices can change, especially like when a hurricane comes around. You can buy a sheet of OSB for $6, hurricane's forecasted, and within 1 week period the $6 now runs to $11.50. So if you're estimating at $6.25 a sheet, you are hurting unit if you're using that as your unit rate. So what you have to do is you got to know that the prices went up. So you go into the estimate and you see that they have $6.25 for OSB. Okay, as a material cost. You don't know for sure if that $6.25 covers just the material of the OSB, or it's material of the OSB and the nails and everything else associated with it. So you change it to the current rate, which is $11.50. You just lost 25 cents per sheet installed because they had 25 cents for everything else, all the other components, and you didn't even know you did something wrong. And then you're guessing, hoping that that's all it's included. And that's just for one item of one sheet of OSB. Now imagine trying to adjust your entire estimate after 6 months after getting the most current cost book. You're in there and you have to go through each one of the line items, and you're basically recreating your cost book, thinking of how much things possibly could have changed and what the prices were back then, because you don't know what the prices were 6 months ago or when the cost book was even printed. It may have been printed 3 months prior to that. So your estimates are only as accurate as the day that the item is, the cost book is printed. After that, the day after, it's no longer accurate. And that's a problem, especially if you're trying to get an accurate estimate. Another problem with that, there's no way after you do a quantity takeout of determining how many sheets of OSB you're going to need. With their estimating system, the only thing you're going to do is you're going to see is a square foot for that task. But you don't know that that also includes H clips, or that includes 2x4s, or what else it includes in their material cost or the labor cost, as far as that goes. So you don't have no control of the being able to produce an accurate set of materials. With the BOSStimator, that's what makes this thing sweet. It doesn't apply the KISS method very good, which is keeping it simple. However, after you see how easy it is, then you'll say this is actually a lot better way of doing an estimate. You actually determine the components, the items, all the way down to the actual piece of material. So let's go to a piece of OSB. I'm searching for OSB, and there it is. I got a OSB sheathing, 7/16 by 4, $6. On our system, if you were going through there, we'll get into the estimates a little later, how easy it is to change materials on an estimate later on. But we're just going to show you on the default section that if you say this is wrong, it's now $11.25. First thing it says is, hey, you're overwriting it. Are you sure you want to do this? This will affect the tasks, the assemblies, packages, and templates, as well as all active estimates that reference these. Notice it says active. Anything that's inactive won't be adjusted. If you say you're sure, it just went through the entire database, found every task, assembly, package, and template, and every estimate that was active, and changed the sheet of pricing for the OSB to $11.25. That fast, that quick. So you don't have to think about it. And you've just been able to. And another benefit of this is that you can see right now, if I'm able to say that I have so many running foot of a wall, that wall per running foot is 1/4 of a sheet of OSB, because 8 foot of a wall high is, 4 feet of that, it's 4 by 8, so that's 1 sheet every 4 foot. You can actually get a material takeoff that you can go out and get a price on, so you can get even a more accurate estimate. The BOSStimator, that platform that is built in, that's what the purpose of that is. It takes it from just the strict materials to actually being able to go out, print a material list by component, or by item I should say, to each vendor, looks up the vendors that supplies those items in the past, produces their SKU number, prints it out on a list, and asks them to bid it by their own SKU number. It comes back, you enter it in, it updates the estimate, and it asks if you want to update the defaults as well, and it does everything, and it gives you an accurate estimate every single time. Now we're talking materials. This is also accurate to labor. On theirs, you don't know what, you may have a component code of like, okay, it's one labor and one such and such, and it's an average of $50 a square foot or $50 an hour. Let's not do that. Let's just say, okay, my finished carpentry, they're at $32. Now, if the average goes up, it's $33. Fine. You've adjusted every estimate, everything in the whole thing that fast for a finished carpenter. So you have total control of the cost in one location globally for all estimates, for all tasks, for all clients instantaneously, and it's that fast. That is a beauty of the estimating system of the BOSStimator, and it works for the labor, the equipment, the materials, subcontractor quotes, and others. Let me give you a brief example. Equipment is stuff that our items are, let's say labor is the self-produced cost of your labor to do the work. Material is the material that needs to be purchased for your labor to install it. Equipment is the equipment that you rent or you buy for the labor to do the work. Subcontractors are the scope of work that you allow other crews to perform as a contract. And other is like stuff that don't fit any of the other primary categories, like permits and dumpsters and portlets and stuff like that, that is not really fits in any other ones. So you have the ability to track it to that degree. On the cost books, this is a very time-consuming. This can be a very time-consuming portion of the setup of the BOSStimator. But once it's set up for life. You never have to go back and revisit it. You can as much as you want to, but everything ties together from there on out. Then you have a complete item list that you're going to be using for all your estimates from there on out. Or you can buy cost books. Cost books are pre-built. They come in a variety of different portfolios, from everything from just strictly framing to HVAC cost book to electrical cost book to general construction to commercial to budgetary cost books. There are some 13, 14 cost books, plus we're adding them all the time, and they already come with all the labor, the materials, the tasks already pre-built into the system, so you're getting it already pre-built out of the box. It's a very much time saver, and if you compare how much time it would take you to build it, comparatively to how much it costs you to just to buy the cost book, you'll understand quickly that that price is very inexpensive. But that's what items are. Items are the building blocks. They are the basic items for everything that has to be done within every estimate. Take a look, ask questions, see how these things all intermingle and work together, and then when you have a question, don't forget to call the boss.